Hotep, and welcome. Kemetic Legacy Today. Kemetic Legacy Today. Life, health, and strength to you all. Kemetic Legacy Today. Hotep. Kemetic Legacy Today.
Hetepu. Welcome to Kemetic Legacy Today, your weekly journal of ancient African, ancient Kemetic, history, and spirituality. My name is Jabari Osaze. This week on Kemetic Legacy Today, we celebrate the life and work of that amazing African-centered scholar, Dr. Yosef Alfredo Antonio Ben-Jochannan, more commonly known as Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben is the author of many books and possibly one of the most important individuals when we look at the drive for people of African descent to return to Africa and focus on our ancient wonder, particularly in the wonderful valley that today is often known as the Nile Valley region. Were it not for his incredible work over the course of his long scholarship, many of us would not be attracted to, dedicated to, and focused on ancient Kemet. So this week we celebrate Dr. Ben by actually attending the 33rd anniversary of his receipt of the Ankh. You may know our chief priest, Heru Nfr-Ka Ma'at. He's been on the show on several occasions, and this wonderful occasion is a celebration of his honoring Dr. Ben with an Ankh. So we traveled to his nursing home, where he is now located, to celebrate that with him. We truly hope that you enjoy the ceremony. And why don't I just go ahead and apologize up front for some of the audio issues with the video. We were in a very small room and it had an extremely noisy air conditioner. But we've done the best we can with the audio, and we still think it's presentable enough for you to be able to enjoy the celebration of the life and works of 95-year-old Dr. Ben. For those of you who would like to visit him, please visit him. Just email us at info@Nfr-Ka-Ma'at.com. Please enjoy the ceremony. Hetepu.
Spirit of all creation. Nfr-Ka Ma'at Dua We give thanks and praise and honor to our ancestors of light. We give thanks and praise and honor to the collective Nfr-Ka, our Kemetic guardians. These guardians who speak through us, who walk with us, who guide us, who remind us to remember who we are so that we may live our lives in Ma'at, so that we can reclaim and remember our legacy, so that we can remember our way. We give thanks and praise to our ancestors. We give thanks and praise to the Most High, the Nfr-Ka, our guardians, for allowing us to be able to reclaim our home, to reclaim our language, to reclaim our spirituality, to reclaim our names, to reclaim who we are. Anedrak Aku, Anedrak Shepsu, Dua Aku, Dua Shepsu. We give thanks and praise and adoration to our ancestors of light, our venerated ancestors, to those whose shoulders raises up high, to those whose blood flow through our veins. We give energy to you as you continue to give energy to us daily. We give thanks and praise to those ancestors, those loved ones of ours who have made their transition, and to those who have left a mark into history. Those such as Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, Hotep, Marcus Garvey, to Hotep, Ivan Van Sertima, to Hotep, John Henry Clark, to Hotep, we can call them out.
Amy Moore,
To Hotep,
James Georges,
to Hotep,
Hazel
Moses
Smith.
Thomas,
to Hotep, Martha Adams, to Hotep, to Hotep,
Melissa Sylvester.
to Hotep,
Sonny Carson,
to Hotep,
Sojourner Truth,
to Hotep,
Amy Staten,
to Hotep,
Harriet Tubman,
Hotep, Betty Shabazz, Hotep,
Mary McLeod Bethune,
Hotep,
Alma Numsta John,
Hotep,
those unnamed.
Georges.
Well, Shepsu, we thank you. We thank you for your work. We thank you for your guidance. We thank you for your sacrifice and dedication so that we can continue to be your living legacy. Hotep. As we stand here, we also give honor and praise to our elder teacher, Baba Heru, for continuing to guide us on this path of righteousness of Ma'at. We thank you. And we thank you for your commitment to this legacy and your commitment to us. You have been referred to and continue to be referred to as a scholarly warrior. We all know that as a warrior provides us with the tools, the mindset, the walk, the talk, the attitude for us to maintain knowledge of self so that we can continue to be who we are, so we can continue to lift up ourselves, our families, our African families, our human families, our people. We know of all your research, of all your selflessness, of all your dedication, of your commitment and your passion to your works. And it is because of you that we continue to do this work. We are the Abutu and Ankh. We are the priestesses of the Ankh. We are priestesses for life. As priestesses and priests and our families, we have taken on the charge to continue all that you have guided us to, which is knowledge of self. As priestesses of the Ankh, as women of this day and this age, we have taken on the charge to continue to nourish our minds so that we can continue to nourish our African families, our families. So we say thank you, Dr. Ben.
Wanta.
Dr. Ben, Dr. Yosef ben-Jochannan, we are honored to come before you. You heard the sound of these ankhs that you, in your book, Black Seminarians and Clergy Without a Black Theology, you ask that these ankhs be once again restored in our culture, in our legacy. As a craftsman, I heeded your call, Dr. Ben. And in 1980, 33 years to the day, January 13th, which today is, 33 years ago, at a ceremony at Church of the Master in Harlem, with Dr. Eugene Callender presiding, you received the Ankh from the Jewels of Aten at the time. That was the shrine that I was working in. You received it as a master teacher, as a son of the sun, and as a jewel of the Aten. And since then, many of your compatriots have likewise received ankhs. You remember Dr. Almanumsa John received hers in 1981. Dr. John Hendrik Clark received his ankh in 1982. And so many others have received ankhs because of your call. We have listened, Dr. Ben. But not only have we come forth with the ankh, we are endeavoring to reclaim the divine legacy of Ma'at, the spiritual culture of the ancient, happy now called Nile Valley people. In all your books, Black Man of the Nile and His Family, they all look alike, volumes 1 and 2. Your works speak for themselves. You have written so many, I have forgotten some of the titles, but I digested them all, Dr. Ben. I remember when I came to America, I joined the police department after a while, and it was on the beat that a young man brought me a tape of one of your lectures. I said, this man sounds just like my father, James Georges, who had introduced me to this legacy when I was a young boy, a Christian minister. But he said that something was wrong as I grew up. He said something was wrong, that all of us, people of African descent, that we are in the house of Shem. And he said, based on his writing, that Shem is our uncle, and that we should be listening to the father Ham, because according to the Bible story, Shem was the father of the Arabs and the Jews, and Ham, as they called him at the time, is the father of the African, and Japhet, they said, is the Caucasian of the European. That is the breakdown that they give in all of the theological seminaries. So my father said to me, he said, I'm going to give you a password, young man. It was during a hurricane season. I must have been about 9 years old, maybe even younger, when he said, Tutankhamen. And when he uttered that word, Dr. Ben, a chill went through me. And to this day, every time I think of that moment, I get a chill. So I know that the spirit that he was passing on to me was that I should grow up and teach and study this legacy and pass it on to others. He said, one day you're going to go to New York. He said, that's where Marcus Garvey went to get his message across. He says, you must go there. But when I came here, you were already here, Dr. Ben. And so many elders like you, trying to rally the troops to study their history. You spent so much time writing with Professor Simmons at your back there, standing beside you. You turned out those books, Dr. Ben. And you know, these college professors and others said, well, we do not see any footnotes and annotations. This is not scholarly work. But they do not understand the spirit of the African Holy Spirit, Dr. Ben. Because you wrote with a passion, you wrote with a possession that called us to look at the beauty of our culture, to look at our greatness and to be great again. And even though we have survived all of the trials and tribulations here in Amenta, this home where Asar came to sleep, because they said that Asar is the Lord of Amenta, Lord of the West, the foremost of the Westerners. And here we are, Asarans rising here in the West because of your call, Dr. Ben. So we are here to honor you on this day, the 33rd anniversary of the time that you received your Ankh from the Shrine of Ptah, Jewels of Aten. So we are so happy to be in your presence, to see you at the age 5 years away from 1 century, still standing strong. And Dr. Ben, they said, well, Dr. Ben, he likes his pork chops. But I will tell you this, Dr. Ben, in spite of that, you have stood strong, and you're still with us. And when I was here last time, you asked us to bring you some shrimp, and you enjoyed them fried shrimp with all that hot sauce in it. So you're still standing strong, and we burn you. We love you, Dr. Ben.
Dr. Ben let us know today he does not eat pork.
Well, he stopped. But Dr. Ben used to annoy some people because after he finished his lecture, he says, I'm going to go right down to Canton to get me some pork chops.
Yes, yes.
And people used to be so upset with Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben, the people don't need to hear that. But give thanks, Dr. Ben.
Yeah, that was one of the first things he said to us. They were serving pork, and he didn't appreciate that because they were serving it was in his food. So now he has learned the way.
Yes, indeed. But he did some time ago.
Yeah.
Yes, good thanks. So, Dr. Ben, we can go on, and I would, you see, these sisters here that have asked me to give them whatever little guidance I could in their pursuit of the ancient legacy of the Nile Valley ancestors that you have been so busy telling us about. And so we were not just satisfied to go to the lectures and feel good about how great we were. We are great now. We were not satisfied to hear, well, that Moses got his 10 commandments from the 42 laws of Ma'at. We want to implement them now. We did not have our temples. The Arabs have our temples now. But we decided to enshrine this legacy in our hearts and in our souls. And we, those of us who have made this commitment, the Center for the Restoration of Ma'at is here. There is a shrine in New Haven in Connecticut. There are shrines sprouting up all over the United States because of the pioneering work that you inspired, that we listened to, that grew the first shrine dedicated or livicated to this divine legacy in New York City, the Shrine of Ptah. We were not just satisfied to hear the word, we wanted to create from the inspiration of the divine word. And that's why we were able to fashion these ankhs and salute you on this day with these divine keys of life. I know you've seen these many times inscribed on the temple walls that you visited over 50 times. Dr. Ben, you climbed up that pyramid in your younger years. And we are here to say that your climb up and down that structure has not been in vain. We have heard, and you can see there are children here who carry the names of the ancient ones, Dr. Ben. These lovely queens you see standing before you, they have taken names off the temple walls. Look at them wearing the collars that you see inscribed in stone on the temple walls. We have brought it alive before you, Dr. Ben, for our love for you, our myrrh for you. Give thanks and praise. So now, we would like each of you to come and give your personal thanks to Dr. Ben so he can know from your heart. As you know, Dr. Ben told you where heaven was. So I told Dr. Ben I want him to be surrounded by heaven. So, and I know you all know that's why you're chuckling. And I know you agree too. Because all of us come out of heaven. Your heaven, divine queens. And Dr. Ben has been one of those elders who have always uplifted the woman. Always. So when he told us where heaven was, No wonder we like to go to heaven, brother. Don't we? So I want you to surround him with your myrrh and let him feel your energy. Sisters, hold hands, and just circle around him, clockwise and counterclockwise. Please, sisters, let him feel the heaven of your energy as divine queens who have taken on the legacy that he has so inspired.
I would come and sit at the Slave Theater and listen to his many, many, many informative lectures. And I remember taking pictures of other people with you, and I didn't get to take one of those pictures. But today, I stand here with you, sharing love, my honor, and my respect for all that you've given to us. Ashe.
Everyone, go in the circle, speak to Dr. Ben. Your appreciation.
Dr. Be amongst your presence, and I am so appreciative of having to be here with you today, and I just give thanks and praise to you all. So,
Dr. Ben, I am truly grateful for you being just in existence, being here for us, being here for me, being here for my spiritual family. And I recently found out, I traveled abroad to my family in Maryland to find out that you all over their house, so that was truly, truly amazing, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for myself, for you passing down the information, and I can pass it down to my family.
This is Nfr-Ka Ma'at Aten-Ra, Huckabee. My name is Ma'at, Huckabee. And I was introduced to you, Dr. Ben, when I was their age, just by knowing the name. And sometimes that's all you need to have to plant the seed in the children's mind, in their psyche, in their spirit, is a name. So from being their age, I have known you, Dr. Ben. When I was a teenager, I attended a wedding that you presided over for Sonia Scott and Penny Martin. And it was my first time seeing a wedding that had not taken place in a church, and that honored the male, female, deity, principle, and appreciation for life through the woman. I knew at that point, while seeing you perform that wedding ceremony, that was something that I had to have when I grew up. So in order to have that type of service and ceremony for myself, it was only right that I find a mate that could appreciate that type of energy and love that would complete that. So I have with me also my husband, Heru David, and I just thank you for planting that seed into me, my husband, my children, so that we can, like I said earlier, be this living legacy. Thank you.
My name is Nfr-Ka Ma'at, and I must say, Dr. Ben, it's a pleasure being here with you today. I've known of you ever since I was very young. My father used to talk about you all the time and the journeys that you would take to Kemet. And I have to say, I didn't really get to appreciate who you were until I actually went to Cornell University and learned of all your accomplishments, all of your writings and your teachings, and had an opportunity to read them for myself. My mate and I started an organization, Center for the Restoration of Ma'at, and now we're trying to follow in your footsteps by taking groups to their sojourn back to the motherland, back to Kemet, so they can see what you've been saying for so long and actually experience it for themselves. So we want to continue what you've started. Hope we could do at least an ounce of what you've been able to provide to those people. So Twalu, thank you so much.
Hotepu, my name is Kemetic Ma'at Heru Libero Cruz, and I want to thank you for being a spiritual warrior. And I see you, I feel you, and I thank you. Twalu.
Dr. Ben, I have to say that when I attended Xaverian High School in Brooklyn, New York, I realized that there was something different about me being the descendant of an African person. And one of the first books that I grabbed was, I want to say it was the origins of the African origins of, I'm going to get this all wrong, of the major Western religious traditions. And that was the first book that I read. one of the first books that I read that led me on my path. And you are one of the reasons why I went to Cornell University. Of course, no one told Cornell University, where I met my mate. If it was not for you, I would not have met my mate. Absolutely. No one told me at the time that you had already retired and left Cornell. So when I got there, I was a bit disappointed. So the first thing I did was I became the chair of the Black Students Union. And we brought you up at least twice a year. And I remember, I know you don't remember me because I had a lot of hair then. I sat at your feet for hours. You would speak to me for hours in the apartment of the person that ran the dormitory, Brother Ken Glover, who I'm sure you know, and would have loved to be here with you. One evening we were there so late, you were yawning. Dr. James Turner came in and said, "Get out of here, you're keeping him up, leave," and he sent us on. He sends his love as well. And I remember listening to you and recognizing that it was time for me to go past an intellectual understanding of the legacy. It was time for me to live the legacy. Another year later, I started my study, and another year after that, I had come to the Shrine of Ptah. And so I will say that you have been on my journey for over 20 years. You have been part of my life in ways that I cannot even explain. So I'm so pleased to be here with you and to say that we will use every ounce of our energy to ensure that your legacy is carried on. Wow.
All right, my name is Heru David. I'm the mate of Rahina Ma'at. Actually in college, I was the president of the Black Student Union for about my whole time there. And I used to have your tapes. Unfortunately, they were the bootleg tapes, but nonetheless, they were your lectures. And I used to print out flyers, and all the kids and the kids in the community used to come to our student union and watch your lectures on tape. And this was in Danbury, Connecticut, in like the late '80s. Fortunately, at that time, my wife was one of the people that would come to the lectures, and she just remembered me through that. And we're together now, and just the people that are responsible for my consciousness are Malcolm X, Alex Haley, yourself, and Ashwa Kwesi. And that's what led me to Baba, Harun, Queen Afua, and got me to the point where I have Kemetically named children and a wife that's a priestess. So I give thanks, and you've been a part of my life, and there are people that still appreciate you to this day. And even in 2013, you still have people that appreciate the work that you have done. That's why we're here. That's what I'm saying.
Now, to show Dr. Ben that we have actually been implementing his directive to claim our ancient cultural legacy, I think you, Abutu, you have brought some readings that you would like to do now for Dr. Ben from the Nfr-Ka. And after you're done with that, I will pull out my guitar and do a little medley of some of the songs I used to sing at First World Alliance when Dr. Ben used to lecture there with Sister Kepa and Bill Jones. Sister Kepa?
She was mistreated 4 days ago.
Oh! Wow. He was saying that Sister Kepa was up there. She was with Bill Jones, her husband, used to conduct the lectures at First World Alliance at the church, the Baptist church up at 145th Street, Convent Avenue, wasn't it? Yeah. Yes. Right. Yeah. It was there that I used to come and play my songs after the lecture and just before the question and answer period. So I want to do a couple of those songs here for you later, Dr. Ben. But we would like to have the sisters read to you from the Nfr-Ka and from the Husia also.
A cry went forth for me from the mouth of Ra, perfecter, and the air opened up upon my ways. It is I who make sky light after darkness. My pleasing color comes from the air which goes forth after me, from the mouth of Ra, the perfecter. The storm clouds of heaven are that which flow from me, and hell storms and half darkness are my sweat. The length of the sky belongs to my strides, and the width of earth belongs to my domain. I am one whom Ra, the perfecter, created. And I am the one whom Ra, the perfecter, created, and I am bound for the place and eternity. To one eternity.
There was the examination of the body members ceremony to be done, and as you do that, you will use the feathers of Ma'at and gesture to the body.
My hair is of new. My face is of Ra. My eyes are the eyes of Heru. My ears are of Apwat. My nose is of Kenshet. My lips are the lips of Ankh. My teeth are of Kepra. My neck is of As. My backbone is of Set. My private parts are of Asar. My belly and back are of Sekhmet. My hips and thighs are of Nut. My feet are of Ptah. There is no member of me that is not divine. I am Ra every day. None shall seize me by my hands.
Evil men, ancient ones, evil ones, racists, rapists, child molesters, anyone can do any harm unto me. We come forth advancing, and we know our names. We are yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Seers of millions of years is our name as we travel along the path of Heru, the light. Hetepu.
Hetepu.
I expected to see two of the brothers here, maybe this weekend. That said they was coming, and some people say they're coming, and they don't come. I understand why. It is not hard to come up here. It's a distance away from the city, and people, it's hard to come to. It's hard to get to. My children don't come every week. They come very rarely. And it makes it very hard to see them. This is best. This is better than I have in years. So this has been a greeting to me. A great coming. It is brought what life could be and should be. I am proud of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
want to give you a hug if that's okay. We really appreciate you.
Of time, a people called the Anu came down the happy river from the mountains of the moon. Unity they did pursue. They were led by the Shemsu Heru, King Mena, son of the sun. He united the families of the north and the south, and so Smitawi was born. We used to call it Kush Tameri, Kemet the black lad, Amen-Ra and Mut Sheikh Smitawi in the palm of the hand, the Kemetic Legacy. Thousands of years of Kemite glory. They keep hiding in dusty museums and private collections all over the place. I'm talking about the Gyp of Egypt. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Gyp of Egypt. Well, now they talk about the glory that was Greece and the grandeur that was Rome. They got the nerve to lie and pretend that they built the wonders of stone. They make movies depicting the Kemites as pink and Moses as Carlton Heston, Liz Taylor as Cleopatra, and Michael Wilding as Akhenaton. I'm talking about Bollywood, the Ten Commandments movie, that Gyp of Egypt. Now they say the pyramids are built by blonde, blue-eyed creatures from outer space. That's why our Kemetic legacy, thousands of years of Kushite glory. Yeah, they keep hiding in dusty museums and private collections all over the place. I'm talking about the Gyp of Egypt, yeah, yeah, yeah. The Gyp of Egypt, yeah. The Gyp of Egypt.
Get your recognition.
Some CDs.
Writing songs talking about wicked Babylon, they talk about the wicked Pharaoh of Egypt land. When you know your own story, not history, you cannot be so easily fooled into cursing your African ancestors with some of the lies they teach in Sunday school. Babylon, the land of Sumer, was a great black nation. So is the place they call Egypt too. But they try to trick you into thinking that nothing great could be dark like you. They be jealous of the kiss of the sun on your face, maybe the firstborn of the human race. Bambare kala bambe, shukale la kachambale, bambare kala bambe, way. They want you to forget your black father Asari. They hope you won't find out Jesus was Heru. What is much worse, your holy mother Isis became our Holy Ghost. It's time to bring the chickens home to roost. But if you talk about the wickedness of Rome and England, they want to put your head in a noose. Come on, let's talk about jihads and crusades, slave ships on Atlantic waves, blessed by the Pope's own hand, the USA and the Church of England. Foreign religious interpretation is what caused Kemetic separation. Involvement in their political nation will never solve your economic condition. They want to destroy us with chattel slavery, apartheid, and the lynching rope. They tried booze and heroin, LSD and cocaine, and now crack the super dope. But we people of the sun have found to keep life, to freedom and dignity. The ancestors and the elders are revealing to us the Kemite, Nubian legacy. So stop cursing your black ancestors of Kemet and Sumer, called Egypt and Babylon. The finger of suspicion points to the US, Rome and England. Remember Sharpeville and Soweto, Mississippi and Stephen Biko. We Africans are the elders of this earth. The Dogon say Potolo gave us birth. We serious, serious people. We serious, better people. We serious, serious people. Serious, serious people. We serious, serious people. We serious, serious people. We serious, serious people. We know the truth, so let them Babylon, 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 Babylon. We know the truth, so let them Babylon, 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 Babylon. Dr. Ben, I'm going to do this one little last piece. And they call it the woolly-headed Jesus. Because, you know, they saying now that he didn't exist, but we know by Yeshua ben-Pandera, don't we? The one that stoned to death in the city of Lud, remember? That's what the Jews know about. They do not know about Ben Yosef, do they? But anyway, our people have claimed this, and sometime if something didn't happen because of the power of the spirit in a human being, we can cause it to happen. So we're not here to argue about the existence or non-existence of Yeshua, but we know that if he was alive, he had to look like us. No wonder Rome couldn't stand him, because he was a brother. Have you been to the shrine? Have you been to the shrine? Have you been to the shrine of Past? They call her Isis, the African Madonna. And her baby Heru, they call him Horus, the Ethiopian Messiah. About 500 years ago, the Pope commissioned Michelangelo. He said, "Come here, Michael. I want you to paint for our holy Roman nation." They always spoke in an English accent, you know, in the movies. A story of a lily pink creation. On a scaffold beneath the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo laid out a story about a woman, a serpent, and an apple, and he had the nerve to use the members of his own family as the models for the Holy Trinity. Little baby Jesus, Papa Joseph, and Mama Mary. In order to conquer Kemet Africa, they had to change us, the Madonna, from ebony black to marble white. Black Heru became blonde Jesus overnight. So now you know. So now you know what they did to the shrine. Why they still hide the shrine of us. They call her Isis, the Africana, and her baby Heru, the Ethiopian Messiah. Got a message from the woolly-haired Jesus. Say his name is Heru. He don't mind if you call him Jesus. He was an Ethiopian, and he wore his woolly hair in naughty dreadlocks like the rest of mine. I'm telling you, he was a son of the sun. He was an African. He taught the people love, preached a message of love. He fought for Ma'at and made sacrifice for me. Heru is alive today, and I think I hear him say, watch out, Russia, England, America, South Africa, Israel, Arabia, who worship diamonds, oil and gold, stealing more than your coffers can hold, with Bibles and Korans in your bloodstained hands. Your violence, greed, and hypocrisy is polluting the land. Jesus would say, I'm telling you, Yeshua, he would say, the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. It's not property of any man. This world is not the property of any man. Got a message from the woolly-haired Jesus. Said say his name is Heru. He don't mind if you call him Jesus. He was a Cushite man, and he wore his woolly hair and naughty mullocks like a rasta. But I'm telling you, he was a son of the sun. He was an African. See what you did, Doc Ben? See what you started? Look around you. We have come off the walls, Doc Ben. We come off the walls. You called us off the walls. We are walking here in a mentor with the Ankh that you said should be restored. We are on mission, Dr. Ben. To a wound, to a wound. When I took the title Heru, somebody came back and told me, Dr. Ben said you shouldn't take the name of the God. And I sent a message back to you, Dr. Ben, I don't know if you got it, that I was born with the name. Now let me explain how it happened. The title Heru was the last name of my family. My father was from Tortola, not too far from St. Croix, where you grew up. And that's where I grew up, in Tortola. And yes, right next to St. Thomas. Precisely. And the family name in the British was Georges. In Santo Domingo, in La Romana, where I was born, it was pronounced Jorges. Jorges in Greek is Horus. Horus in the Kemetic is Heru. So I was born with the name Dr. Ben. And so, as I've gathered and read your works, going almost crazy talking to anybody who would listen about Egypt, they said, what's the matter with you talking about this place? It's a cursed place. Dr. Ben, I had to look in my background to get my sanity. Why am I so fixated with this message of the legacy? Well, I checked a little further because the name is part of who we are. As you know, that's part of the 9 parts of the human being in Kemet. You know, the Ka, the Ba, the Ren, the Shechem, and so on. So the name, the Ren, is very important. So I looked in my mother's and my father's background and found my mother's name was Guerrero, which means warrior. And that's what Heru does. He wars against Set. And then, to even clinch it further, my grandfather on my father's side was Alexander, of course from the Greek, still a warrior. And then on my mother's side, my grandfather's name was Felipe. And as you know, Philippe was the father of Alexander of Macedon, still a warrior. So then they gave me the name James. They used to call me Jaimito, which means little James in Spanish. And Dr. Ben, when I took the mission on that my father put me on with that magic word, Tutankhamen, I changed James around and it became Semahj. And I added the H just before the J to put the Heru energy in there, the number 8. You see? So I just want to report to you that I was not being disrespectful, but I had no choice when I saw what I was called upon to do. But I'm not the only one, Doc Ben, because everyone that I've shared this message with, when they sit in my class, I tell them the story of Ast and Asar, and I say, who's your mother? They say Ast. I say, who's your father? Asar. So who are you? Heru. Everybody says Heru. Because when you take the name Heru, you know what you got to do. You have to restore Ma'at. You have to serush Ma'at. Make it green again. Make it live again. And you have to come up against all those liars and thieves And I want to say right now, our land, our divine and most sacred and holy land, the land of Kemet, that stone library that our ancestors put there because we knew we were going to go to sleep, and we wanted to have it there when we woke up. So they tried to dazzle us with Atlantis, Lemuria, and Mu, but they don't want us to claim the legacy of our ancient Nile Valley ancestors. So we're here to tell them that the lioness and the lions are out of the bag. We have gone past being cats. We're no longer cats in the bag, we are lions out of the bag and lionesses out of the bag. Ptah and Sekhmet is strolling in the west. And all of the other Neteru are strolling. All of these sisters and brothers you see here, the children, they have taken the names of ancient ones of the Nile Valley, and you had a lot to do with it. So we want to thank you from the top, the middle, bottom of our hearts for all that you have done for us, Dr. Ben. Tuawu and Tara. So now we all can feast on the divine essence that fills this room. Just breathe.
Make sure to check out our website at www.centerforma'at.com or visit us on Facebook at either Kemetic Legacy Today or the Center for the Restoration of Ma'at. And we're also happy to note that we're on Twitter now, so you can find us at Ma'at Center on Twitter. So thank you so much for tuning into Kemetic Legacy Today. Twawu.